Are your landscape images looking just like a postcard you could buy in a souvenir shop, or something that people might look at and forget? Or do they stop people in their tracks, or stop even your friends and family that you share them with? Do you feel something deep in your soul when you look at them? Now, today I would like to show you the difference in how to transform your landscape images from a simple snapshot into a story that might move people when they look at it. Hi, I'm Rebecca Kowalski, and my channel is here to help you create meaningful images no matter what kind of photography you love. Whether you shoot landscapes, street photography, family moments, events, even family portraiture, or whether you're a professional, an amateur, a hobbyist, or just love taking pictures. And it also is here for all of us who use smartphone, DSLR, or mirrorless, or of course, a combination of any of these. I'm here to help you learn, grow, for me to grow and incorporate whatever I can share that will work for you. When I look back at some of my landscape images in trying to compile a group here as examples, I also thought, wow, some of these weren't so great. And that's okay. We all grow with continuous practice and shooting and continuing to go out. Even if you want to shoot for fun, just to capture beauty, that's also fantastic, even if you're not looking for deep meaning. But I'm here to help you on whatever your journey is to up your game a little bit. Now, when I go to new places, it's always a juggling act, especially if we're going on a vacation. I'm with family and I'm constantly trying to figure out, should I spend family time? Should I be doing more photography? Or the best is blending both if it's not a dedicated photography trip. On the same issue, I like running every morning and I like to do it first thing in the morning. So do I go out and shoot in that beautiful golden sunrise light and risk missing my workout because it got pushed off? Or do I work out first, then shoot and miss the nice light? Or do I get up extra early? It's always a juggle, but I have my camera with me everywhere I go, 90% of the time, and I make it work. Or at least I have my phone with me. And my phone is also a great camera, like most of our phones today. So my focus today is creating interesting landscape images with soul that convey your feelings and your emotions and whatever moves you in ways that bring fulfillment and create a truly beautiful image and images that connect with people and convey something from your heart and soul to the viewer. I have sort of two hometowns. I moved from Chicago to Israel, and both of those places have landscapes that move me. Here in Israel, where I live now, there's years of history and spirituality and human connection. But the universal truth is you don't need to move somewhere to feel its power. You need to be present with it. Wherever I've traveled in the world, the people and the places have moved me. So I think I can say that we all can find our personal connection to a landscape from diverse locations, from our hometown, places that we repeatedly return to, and seeing what moves us in this place, or seeing the people who move us, and how do we translate this emotion through the camera into our images to the viewer. And when we revisit our images, will they move us in the same way? Years ago, for our 25th anniversary, my husband took me to Hawaii. It was an amazing trip. Anyone that's been to Hawaii knows that this place is beautiful. He actually hired a photographer named Ron Dahlquist, and he taught me a lot and took us to beautiful places. But what is one of the most important things that has stayed with me is that a beautiful landscape can be amazing when it's just the landscape, but what adds to it is if there are people in the landscape. I was a little skeptical because it ruins the pristine, untouched look of nature. But the lesson that I learned from it is sometimes an empty landscape with a human element adds so much. It could add in terms of scale, like we've talked about negative space. It could add in terms of emotion, two people holding hands or someone sitting alone. And I've tried to implement this principle in a lot of my landscape photography. It sort of breaks the purist mindset of a landscape being clean of anything in it. try both ways, see what moves you, and see if you change a little bit, what that will do to your landscape photography. Of course, we have talked about light often and the soul of the landscape and the dramatic effect that a golden hour can add to a landscape. We also have blue hour. We also can have very, very harsh shadows, as we've talked about in street photography. We also have weather. The weather with beautiful golden light can be absolutely amazing as far as our landscape images, but stormy photos or overcast photos can also give over a mood that is something we might want to convey to our viewer. Most of us know the concept of compositional rules that add to our images. For example, leading lines that lead us and draw us into an image. There's also a rule of having a foreground element that leads us into the landscape. This is something that also some people don't think about because they think that it's an extra object in the frame that we don't need, but it really helps add depth and dimension. We also know about negative space. We've talked about that. What's really important, sometimes takes us out of our comfort zone, is the seeing other cultures and including people or objects or spaces, sacred spaces that we can incorporate into the landscape, or different types of terrain. For example, in the image outside of Marrakesh in Morocco, just the farmer with his donkey and his horse. Sometimes I saw this man and sometimes I'm thinking, I don't want to bother him, I don't want to get in his way, but I waited till there were different compositions that moved me, with him being the only person in the frame instead of just taking the landscape. He was my story of this landscape, of the Atlas Mountains in Morocco. We also have talked about spontaneity and planning. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Many of the images that are here were taken because we arrived somewhere not knowing what we were coming to. And sometimes someone appears, or an animal appears, or something unfolds with the children of the village, and you have to be ready to catch them because they are the story. At other times, we can revisit somewhere and say, we need to plan based on what we've seen. We want to come back and capture something that we already know will happen. So there's a balance between spontaneity and planning, especially in places that we're not familiar with. I've often gone back to my hometown of Chicago, and I obviously feel very connected to that city. I grew up there. I love that city. I love the lakefront. I go back repeatedly to the lakefront, Lake Michigan, and I've tried to capture the people there, the sunrise there, the cityscape from the lakefront of the buildings in downtown Chicago. I could go back again and again, and I plan to. So the same holds true where I live. There are so many different places that I return to that I want to capture the soul by using compositional rules and by breaking them. But one thing that I feel is important in landscape photography, many of us use our wide angle lens to try to capture the vista. But I think we can also zoom in at times and try to capture a detail, something that might not be what everybody is capturing, but still gives over the mood and the soul of the area that we are trying to show others and convey the feeling that we feel in the image for other people to see and feel. Often when we're traveling, we don't have the luxury of getting necessarily a good weather day. For example, in Georgia, just outside, a few hours outside of the city of Batumi, the day that we had hired a driver to take us around was a very rainy day. So I still tried to get images of water, which I think whoever is with me here in the channel knows how much I love water. I could photograph lakes, rivers, waterfalls, oceans, seas, infinitely. So I said, I have to get images. I'm not going to be able to come back here for a while. So I did the best that I could and tried to get my feel and love for the water in the images to share with you, with the world. And for me to come back to and feel what moved me the power of the waterfall, the overcast mystery or loneliness of a rainy day. When I come back either to the hotel room or the Airbnb or back home, I still work on these images and I want to edit them to amplify the mood and the ideas that I want to get across. I am not someone that is into a lot of post-processing. I'm not into extreme changes or strong HD photography. Sure, I've done edits, raise the saturation a little or the vibrance. I think we have to edit digital images somewhat. I personally want to keep the image as close to what it looked like and as authentic as I feel it should be. Everyone decides for themselves what is their way and how they want to edit and what they want to present. Someone might want to present an intense mood that might require higher saturation or more HD editing to their image, and that's fine. I'm presenting what I believe is right for me. What about printing? What should we do with our images? Should they just sit on the computer? Many of us have hundreds, thousands of images sitting from trips, from just going out to photograph the landscape. Most of the time, I try to make a book to summarize what I've done on this trip, what I've collected, what moved me. I'll tell you a story. I told a neighbor that we want to go to Vietnam. I eventually want to get there. It's one of the places on my bucket list. So when I told my neighbor, they said, oh yeah, they had gone to Vietnam and they have some books they wanted me to look at. Okay, I took the books home. It was 2 thick books of hundreds of pages. It's just a hobbyist. The photos in there, some of them were really nice. Some seemed a little pixelated. They weren't as high quality, but what's more important to me to share is that just like we talk about in a photo essay, the same thing for a book. We get emotionally attached to our images, but when you're putting together something, you want it to be strong, you want it to be powerful, you want it to be meaningful, and you certainly don't want it to be boring. You have to go through your images and cull them. So let's say you came home, it doesn't matter with how many images, 1,000, 500. Go through them, pick the images you love the best. Get rid of images that for sure you know you don't want or need. Wait a day or two, then do that again till you get a cohesive unit. It could be 100 or 200 images, but not images that are repetitive, not images that are not really saying something. It's hard to do. We get emotionally attached to the images we took because we took them for a reason. Something moved us. Try to be a little bit more discerning as much as you are connected to the images that you take. Even if you're not going to do a photo book, you can select 1 image, 2 or 3 to print and put up the images that truly tell your story of this landscape, of this area. For example, when our first child got married, she and I put together a book of photographs and we handed it out at the wedding, and it had certain meaningful prayers and images that went together, and eventually I refined it and published that book. So it was a project that started as an artistic, meaningful way of adding a dimension to her wedding, and in the end, it became a book. When we choose photos from an outing, whether it's a photo essay, a book, or just to save, we want it to have an impact. I think we hear about it in a lot of podcasts. Less is more. Think in a discerning way. What do I want from you guys this week? I want you to find your landscape photos from your area, from a trip, whether it's ancient stones of Jerusalem or Greece, or peaks that you've climbed, or special places from your childhood. Whatever it is, I want you to gather them together and find a group of them that mean something to you, that you might print in a book, that you might hang on your wall. I'd love to help you on this journey, and I want you to try this exercise. I would also ask you to go out into the landscapes of your neighborhood, your city, your country, or your travels, and try to think when you're taking the photo, what is meaningful here? What can make this unique aside from the vast vista or the wide angle shot? What could make this image memorable to me, memorable to my viewers? I want to feel your soul in the photos, not just good technique, not just great light, but somehow something that holds a meaning for you. Please tell me in the comments below what moved you about your latest landscape outing. But until the next video, keep shooting with your heart as much as your eyes, with your soul as much as the techniques of your compositional rules, and see if it adds a little meaning and depth to your photography, to your landscapes, that will make them stand out from the regular images. And remember, the regular images are okay too. Keep shooting. Please write me what interests you, what new topics you'd like to talk about, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. I want to thank everyone again for reaching out, for writing comments, for sharing your images. I believe that our community is growing together, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video on meaningful photography.